Ahsoka Episode 7 changed everyone's perspective of who could show up in a Star Wars show. Honestly, it is one of the biggest surprises we've seen in a Star Wars television series so far. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. Episode 7 of Ahsoka was so good. Oh my gosh. We're finally seeing the fruition of a lot of the threads that were set up in the earlier episodes. We're seeing Thrawn in greater details and his strategy coming through strong. We're seeing Baylan go even further into whatever direction he's doing. Still don't necessarily know what the heck's going on there. Sabine and Ezra are getting caught back up on what life was like on both sides of the galaxies, and Ahsoka has made it back. Made it to, not necessarily back. You can't go back to a galaxy you've never been in. But yeah, made it to the Prudia.
Yes, indeed. But that's not the most surprising of all.
The surprising thing was a little subtle thing, and it comes in at quite the odd time.
Indeed.
So, throughout the series so far, we've seen a lot of these little bits and pieces of what the galaxy is up to on the political side of things. What is the New Republic up to? How is it addressing the Empire remnants? And Hera is quite upset with how they're doing things and is looking for more action and true change when it comes to this.
Yeah, she's trying to take preventative matters instead of just, we'll deal with it when it comes up.
We'll wait until they take over the whole New Republic and then we'll do something.
Yeah, not a good tactic, guys. But that just means Hera has to get really creative and a little spicy, a little rebelsy.
Rules.
Yes.
And with that comes this surprising revelation. So, the council that they're all part of is a council put together on a variety of experiences. Mon Mothma is there, and Hera is involved with it in some capacity.
She seems to be the leader of a lot of the Air Force.
Yes.
Not
space. Necessarily on the board or the council, but is directly reporting to them. And in this, she thwarted their decree of holding action, that there not being not enough
evidence, really, to be able to justify using so many people, which really wasn't that many, but going out of her way, not being available, and spending time away.
But that's all going on, and Hera stood trial. And one of the little punk, I don't even know his name. I don't want to know his name. I just want to call him the punk dude. He's like, you're breaking the rules, you're disobeying direct orders, kind of thing. And he is quite peeved about this and is trying to kick her off and do a court-martial on her and ground her from any of the missions or anything, really. Until a very familiar face shows up in the form of human-cyborg relations C-3PO.
C-3PO.
I am C-3PO.
Carrying a message from General Leia. More than General Leia. Senator Leia? Again, right?
Yeah, Senator Organa, I would imagine, is what her role is now.
Yeah. Even further, she's the head of that council as well.
Yeah, she has a lot of influence in the council.
Yeah, and in Legends, this would be a time where you would have seen Leia torn between three places, really. There's spending time with Han, there is the political side of things, and then there's her training. And each of those people want more of her time. So she is very stretched thin, which is why she would utilize someone like C-3PO to be able to...
Someone or something.
Yes.
Very interesting. I love that Mon Mothma is the one who's like, C-3PO, because in the books especially, you see a pretty deep relationship between Mon Mothma and Leia, pretty much ever since she was a kid.
Yeah.
So there is that really nice connection, and they're really, really close. Not too close, because they are like senators and stuff like that. But
Mon Mothma's always trying to get Leia further involved.
Yep.
And to utilize her skills and her experience in helping the New Republic.
Goodness.
Yeah, exactly. She's gone through all of that. Like, she went through the death of Alderaan as a planet. She went through the rise and fall of the Empire, and she did all of this and was a key part of the downfall of the Empire.
Yep. Leia's a war hero, really. So she has a lot of influence. And for her to be sending a droid, although that's not protocol, protocol droid. It's not protocol to have a droid stand in for you. She definitely has the voice to be able to overcome those things.
And people understand why that would be the way that it is.
Other than a punk guy who was like, why do we listen to a droid?
But this shows like the time frame of things. And Mon Mothma has been since the beginning, like before A New Hope time frame. Many years before A New Hope time frame. She was involved in politics and rose through the ranks as a politician. And has regained that in this new era. And during the original trilogy era and the war against the Empire, she was one of the main reasons that the rebellion was so successful in that. And to have Leia come in and help Hera and help the efforts that she's doing, because she understands how dire it is. If Thrawn is to come back, that would be detrimental.
There is a great weight to whatever it is that Leia decides to support. I mean, she was there. She was the rebel. She was the rebel, literally. So it's just good to see. It's good to see the rebels helping the rebels.
And also it's fun to see a familiar, or at least hear a familiar name like that, because it is from someone who would have a huge role in this time frame that we've yet to hear from. We have Luke over here on this side, and we're seeing what he's getting set up with the Jedi Temple and the new Jedi Order. We haven't seen really Leia's perspective or heard about Leia in this time frame, except for maybe the flashbacks that we would have seen in Rise of Skywalker. And to see finally of like what Leia is doing and to hear more of that, I think is really huge.
Yeah, it is kind of key. I mean, even though we're clearly starting to get away from the Skywalker saga or whatever, it's still kind of key to know what these Skywalkers are doing, because they're all key to this time period.
And it's coming up closer as we get closer and further along in this time period. We are going to eventually hit the sequel trilogy, which is a continuation of the Skywalker saga. So the Skywalkers are a huge part of all aspects of this era. This is the foundation that will eventually lead to what the sequel trilogy will be. That's huge.
It is. I think it speaks volumes that the people in the room, when Hera's being interrogated or whatever, that no one can stand up to this one guy being like, you gotta follow the rules, man. So it takes this powerhouse of Leia to come in that Hera behind the scenes had to convince me, like, hey, no, please support me in this. I'm trying to help us, please. It's Thrawn. I think it's fascinating, and it just shows the flaws already interlaced into this. Because no one cares. No one cares.
Everyone's just trying to keep things as normal as possible rather than actually make it better.
Yeah, save face, gain power. It's the same old. It's the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But let us know your thoughts on this. What did you think of hearing Leia and seeing C-3PO and Ahsoka? Do you think it was well earned, or do you have other thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. Check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.